Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news from Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week, Alpha 3.9 gets delayed. We see how we can interact with our weapons in 3.9, plus we hear what's coming in terms of multi-crew gameplay. So before we begin, let's take a look at the current status of Alpha 3.9. In the latest roadmap roundup, it was mentioned that with the recent transition to working from home and their push to improve stability and playability for 3.9, it won't be ready in time for its release date, which is about the 31st of March, beginning of April. Personally, I am actually okay with this, as obviously this is affecting everyone, but more because if 3.9 is more playable, is more stable than what we have in 3.8, then I am more than happy to wait for that. With that said though, it is still with the Eva Cati. They are currently testing the Idris mission. Hopefully there will be a Wave 1 release sometime next week, but for more information on all of the leaks of 3.9 as they happen, do check out my leaked video series. So Inside Star Citizen this week kicked off looking at the new weapon interactions. For Alpha 3.9, it will bring weapon attachment UI along with some new bearing sights. Now to enter the interaction mode, you hold F and hover your mouse over the weapon and then click on the bottom which is customize. This will then present you with kind of an inspect view of the weapon, highlighting the various attachment points. You have a top rail for sights and scopes, underbarrel for lasers and torches, and then barrel attachments for silencers, flash hiders and compensators. When you click on one, it'll bring up the various options you have available, and as you hover over each, it'll show you a hologram of each one to allow you to visualize the item attached. Now the UI was actually created by the weapons team using the new building blocks tech, which meant that they didn't have to wait for the swamped UI team to catch up and create it for them. The new bearing brand sights are quite nice as well, and it's great to see a variation of attachments, which, like everything else, is styled to the manufacturer that built them, which is always great to see CIG following. In the future, this weapon attachment system is due a full UI art pass from the UI team just to unify it with the Star Citizen menus like the new radial menu. They would also like to add the 3D holo previews of each item, which won't be in for 3.9 unfortunately. But they do want to unify the inspect and customize option rather than having two options. I kind of agree that it needs to be done to make it less messy, but I do like being able to actually inspect the weapon completely free from UI. So I do hope that this is still an option. This kind of allows people to really appreciate their weapons and items. Maybe if they just remove the UI when you start moving the weapon around to look at it, that would work for me. Also, we will have more points to interact with in the future, and they will have swapping animations showing your character actually taking off the attachment and putting it in their bag and then adding the new one, which sounds great. So for the most part of Inside Star Citizen, it was a look at New Babbage, the landing location. Not much to be said that we didn't already know, so I'll just play the cool looking visuals here in the background, and I cannot wait for 3.9 to take a look at it ourselves. Do be aware that this is the last Inside Star Citizen for 3 weeks, as this show goes on a hiatus straight after a patch release, so hopefully 3.9 comes soon to take its place. So this week we had another Calling All Devs. Instead of it being Squadron 42 related, it was in regards to the PU. Now the first question was, how's the Gen 12 Vulkan conversion going? Now Gen 12, if you don't know, is the in-house renderer, which will utilise multiple CPU cores than the previous one. Currently it's only utilising really 2 cores. This will unlock all of the cores of your CPU, be it 8, be it 16, and allow it to be used. The Vulkan is the graphics API. Currently, we are running on DX11, which I thought it would be 12, but it's 11. And as they start using the Vulkan API, they will begin to use both DX11 and Vulkan, and then when they get more support for Vulkan, they will just drop DX11 and move over. Now, Vulkan is a much more modern API, which is much faster, giving more performance, but does require quite a bit of work to get going. It's made good progress, but there's still a lot to go. This is all very important as it will spread the workload over all of the client CPU cores, resulting in a much faster rendering process and much lower latency. Plus, it'll open up the door for many more features like ray tracing, VRS, and so on. They do have multiple mini-teams tackling different things simultaneously, and they are starting technically with the hardest first and getting those done. This all is very important, and it has to be done to achieve the performance and visuals that Star Citizen require. This is actually the biggest focus for the graphics and engine team this year. There is no other focus but this at the moment. Next question is, where is the Idris in development for player use? Now, they said the exterior is mostly done. Most of the damage states are done as well. This is why we can see it in 3.9. The interior, though, is still work in progress and constantly being updated for Squadron 42's needs. Now, they did say that one player could technically fly it around like a fighter, but obviously it will be very useless, so they want to get more multicrew features in first before they release it for player use. These Arlington missions in 3.9, they did say it was very tricky to balance. It sounds like they're still trying to do it, but they've tried waves of hammerheads and retaliators. Originally, it was a little too easy, and one torpedo from a retaliator would just knock it out completely, so they've increased the main centralized health pool of the Idris with lesser health pools in the surrounding areas. It also has capital class shields like the 890, making it very difficult to damage in the first place, but they want it to require a lot of people to kill, but not be unkillable, so it sounds like it's going to need a lot of teamwork. Now, capital ships are pretty untested, they said, compared to the rest of the ships in the verse, so it's a big learning curve for them. But do check out my latest leaked video for more information on this Arlington mission and the Eva Cotti tests that are currently going on. So, final question was to Dave Coulson, and it was a good one. It is there deeper multi-crew gameplay planned? Now, he said yes, they have had discussions on it recently to define how to go about introducing more multi-crew. They're looking into a permission system in which the captain can assign item control to specific players. So, for example, the engineer could control power plants and coolers, or the weapons officer could control all the weapons. Over time, as they add depth and system gameplay into the ships, combine this with the permission system, it'll create that deeper multi-crew gameplay. Near term, they say they want to resolve the issue in which the pilot controls everything, so maybe giving and allocating control to other stations. They need to establish how the gameplay systems within each ship interact with each other and how players will interact with them. When combined, the results should be quite natural. Right now, they are reviewing a lot of ship systems to see what they can do to increase the depth and make it interesting for players to engage with those systems. Longer term is just adding more features to ships. They will start with game systems, but they don't want minigames or quick time events. They say it needs to feel natural and logical as to what that person would actually do in that situation. So, for example, as an engineer, if your life support fails or your oxygen runs out, for example, the engineer will have to walk over to the life support panel, wherever that is on the ship, physically open up and remove the oxygen bottle, perform actions to repair it or put a new one in. These actions are still undetermined just yet, and then they will put that back and get it working properly again. He does say these aren't going to be mini-games for the role. They are actions that interact with the ship's systems, so they want a good variety of actions as well. They have had a meeting recently with Chris Roberts, and firstly, they were looking into captain roles, so assigning roles to other crew members. They want it to be kind of like a real-time strategy game to some degree, using a globe, for example, so you can see what is happening on the larger scale. And then they will be pointing out things and giving out orders and commands to the people on board, sort of directing them around. Now, the engineer, they say, is a big one that they want. Once they increase power systems in ships, this will evolve a little bit more. Security officers, so controlling door access and so on. They say that the core pillar roles inside ships are captain, pilot, engineer, and then maybe something like tactical officer or science officer who is in control of scanning and radar and so forth. Then you have specific roles which may be designated by the specific ship you're flying, like a medic, but they also want us as players to define our own roles to some degree. Give a player whatever items you want them to control rather than pure designated roles. So firstly, developing ship systems to be more robust, then finding a way to assign system management and the tools to actually interact with them. No idea, they said, what will come first in terms of roles, but assigning roles is probably something we will see earliest for the captain, and then increasing the depth of these features will be ongoing. Now, I love hearing about the route CIG are planning to take to evolve the multi-crew aspects. Making the system interaction logical makes sense. It also means it won't be swamped with UI commands. as it'll kind of be quite self-explanatory and skill-based rather than mini-games that you get better at as your stat increases. It does sound like we will begin to see a bit more progress on this Multicrew side this year, but it also does sound like it requires quite a bit of work. Now, I'll probably address this in a separate video, as it's likely going to be a full discussion in itself. Plus, we will chat about it on Monday's stream, so do come and hang out with us if that sounds good to you. Anyway, a great Calling All Devs episode. Let's move on. So also this week, Instruments of Surrender Part 3 was released following the days running up to the Taveran attack. We got an infographic highlighting what the most popular missions are in the verse. And finally, the latest jump point is available to all subscribers. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share the video with all your friends. If you like what I do and want to help me make it better, follow the link below to my Patreon page to learn more.